Good morning. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. and I will call to order the June 29th meeting of the Saline County Board of Commissioners. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Shadwick.
Here.
Commissioner Sparks.
Here.
Commissioner Vidrickson.
Here.
Commissioner Weiss.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Please join me for the flag salute and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If everyone can make sure that all microphones, phones, and other electronic devices are muted when you are not speaking so that remote observers can hear the proceedings clearly, I would appreciate it. Now, if Brad, our IT director, could instruct everyone on how to raise their hand in the meeting.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, Brad.
Everyone has joined the Zoom meeting at this time.
Okay, thank you, Brad. At this time, we will move into our citizens input portion of the meeting where citizens may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes and pertaining to items not on today's agenda.
Norman Mann of Salina, Kansas.
Good morning.
When did the county enter into the business of planting noxious weeds? You rebuilt the roads. You brought this gravel in from another area. Did you see if it was certified weed-free? we got the prettiest stand of noxious weeds out there. Now you're going to have to go out there and spend chemicals and money and chemicals to take care of these noxious weeds because there's a state law against these weeds.
Yep.
So we'll look into buying this a little bit of weed-free material.
Oh, I think it just blows in from everywhere.
No,
I don't think it.
This is planted.
Oh.
This is a nice straight row right along the edge of the road.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak? At this time, we will move to our consent agenda, which consists of approval of prior minutes, approval of tax roll adjustments, accounts payable, and public forum agenda. Are there any commissioners who wish to add or delete items from consent agenda?
Not me. Nope.
Hearing no objection, the consent agenda will stand as approved. We will move into action items. Item 1.
Elder Abuse Awareness Month proclamation with Brandy Bohm, Business Development Manager with DVAC.
Good morning.
Good morning. As she said, I'm Brandy Boehm. I am the Business Development Manager and Elder Abuse Program Manager for DVAC.
Okay.
June is Elder Abuse Awareness Month, and whereas according to the National Council on Aging, 1 in 10 seniors in America experiences mistreatment or abuse, including domestic and sexual violence, financial exploitation, and neglect. And whereas abusers of older adults are both men and women and are usually family members, caregivers, healthcare workers, or other trusted individuals, and due to the shame, fear, and other barriers elders face in reporting abuse, only a limited number of victims are able to get the help that they need. And whereas elders throughout the United States lose an estimated $2.6 billion or more annually due to elder financial abuse and exploitation, such as the illegal taking, misuse, or concealment of funds, property, or assets of a senior for another's benefit. And whereas too often elder abuse threatens the livelihoods of older individuals, erodes their extraordinary potential, and increases their risk of death by 300% compared to seniors who have not been mistreated. And whereas Saline County's vulnerable and older adults of all social, economic, racial, and ethnic backgrounds may be targets of abuse, neglect, or exploitation, which can occur in families, long-term care communities, and medical settings. And whereas we all have a responsibility to support the safety, welfare, and dignity of vulnerable and older adults, and must work toward ending elder abuse by assisting victims in accessing information and supportive services they need, creating better and more resources for older adults in need, instituting effective intervention and prevention policies, and engaging in discussion with family members and peers to promote awareness, prevention of the quiet epidemic of elder abuse. Now therefore, the Saline County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims June 2021 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month in Saline County and urges all citizens to work together to protect elder adults from abuse, neglect, and exploitation, because it is imperative that we refuse to tolerate the indignity of elder abuse.
Well, thank you. And this is the end of the month almost, so.
It is.
Have you had
It is.
any items doing or going on?
We have done
During the month?
presentations, and we've been at the senior center.
Okay.
And that we are going to continue throughout the year.
Okay.
And DVAC this year received a grant for elder abuse. So we are not just spreading awareness we actually have an elder abuse program. And we have partnered with Recover Care, and they have assisted living or long-term care facilities in 8 of our outreach counties, including Saline County. And so we've reached an agreement that we're able to pay for services for maybe an elder that's experiencing dementia that wouldn't be necessarily appropriate for our safe shelter because they can't care for themselves, or somebody that has been physically or sexually assaulted to the point that they would need maybe to be in the long-term care facility for rehab, or somebody that has special needs. And so we're able to pay for that until they obtain the necessary insurance, either Medicare or Medicaid, and help them obtain those services.
Okay. Well, thank you, Brandy.
Sure.
Are there any questions or comments by the commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I move we proclaim June 2021 as Elder Abuse Awareness Month.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve Elder Abuse Awareness Month proclamation. Are there any further comments? If not, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. And here, here's a certificate there for the. Hey, thank you for your service. Have a great week and finish out the month in fashion.
Thank you.
Item number 2.
RFA 190-21, 2022, Saline County Association of Public Employees, MOU, with Marilyn Leamer, Human Resources Director.
Good morning, Marilyn Leamer.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Saline County Association of Public Employees, or SCAPE, has met and conferred with the county pursuant to the organizational policy. And in an effort to attract and retain quality employees, this request is asking for approval and signature of the SCAPE Memorandum of Understanding, providing for a 3% pay plan adjustment for 2022 to be effective December 27 of 21. The alternatives for action is to sign the MOU, do not sign the MOU, or delay a decision and direct staff to provide further information. Our recommendation is to sign the Memorandum of Understanding. The budget impact will be a 3% pay plan adjustment will result in approximately $351,000 in salaries, an additional, and approximately an additional $71,000 in employee benefits and employment taxes. These amounts are prior to any proposed new positions considered for the 2022 budget.
Okay, thank you, Marilyn. Are there any questions or comments by the commission? Any members of the public who wish to speak? Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Joan Ratzlaff in Celina, and I'm here representing the Salina Area Workers Coalition. We're a local grassroots citizen volunteer organization that educates and advocates for workers. And one of the things that we've advocated for in the 9 years of our existence is fair pay for county workers and fair treatment. And so I want to encourage you to vote for HR's recommendation to approve the 3%. I wanted to read a scripture, if I may. It's 1 Matthew 5:18. It says, "Never tie up the mouth of an ox when it's treading out the grain. Let him eat as he goes along." And in another place, "Those who work deserve their pay." There's another place in Scripture, I forget exactly where it is, it says that when it's in your power to do right, to do so. And I think that applies here. We need to at least keep the pay of our servants for the public to keep up with inflation at least. So thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Well, thank you, Joan. Yes. I will bring it back to the commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve by signature the 2022 SCAPE Memorandum of Understanding, providing for a 3% pay plan adjustment effective 12/27/21.
Second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve RFA number 190-21, 2022 Saline County Association of Public Employees MOU. Are there any further comments? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioners.
Marilyn. Item number 3.
RFA 191-21, the Dane G. Hansen Building Improvements Repairs Grant with Rosie Walter, Department of Senior Services Director.
Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Looks like you've been busy.
Just a little. Senior Services requesting commission approval to accept grant funding from the Dane G. Hansen Foundation in the amount of $20,000. A grant application was submitted to the Dane G. Hansen Foundation requesting funding for a new Meals on Wheels drive-through, outbuilding repair, tech pointing of the second and third floors of the building, and replacement of all the windows within the building. The alternatives for action are accept or deny the grant funding from Dane G. Hansen Foundation. Staff recommendation is to accept grant funding from the Dane G. Hansen Foundation, the amount of $20,000 for building improvements and repairs. And the budget impact, grant funds will be used for the building improvement and repairs. There is no cost to the seniors or to Saline County.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments by the commissioners?
Just good news.
Yes.
Rosie, I have a question, and I'm all for accepting the grant, but the things that you have listed on here, the drive-through and the tuck pointing, I mean, the last time I knew, the drive-through was going to cost about $35,000, and that was before concrete went up. So, how do we adjust or
Before, I think when they put it together, they had an asphalt drive-through without any curbing or anything. I think we want to have something a little more solid because we're going to have freight trucks drive through that drive-through, and I do want it to be a little bit wider so that I can have 2 cars pull through, so Meals on Wheels, the volunteers that are going through don't block that drive.
No, I'm for it. What I'm saying is the $20,000, when before our cost was $35,000, you're saying improve that. How's this $20,000 going to pay for that?
This is just one of a multitude of grants that we applied for, so you'll see on my next RFA, I'm asking for approval to accept more funding, and I have other grants that are out there.
Okay, so this grant is not to pay for those items you've got listed here. They're to help pay for.
Right, they're going to be a contribution
Okay.
towards the goal
Okay.
of everything.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Any members of the public who wish to speak? I will bring it back to the commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept grant funding from the Dane G. Hansen Foundation in the amount of $20,000 for building improvements and repairs.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve RFA number 191-21, Dane G. Hansen Building Improvement Repairs Grant. Any further comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Item number 4.
RFA 192-21, Sunderland Building Improvement Repairs Grant with Rosie Walter, Department of Senior Services Director.
Good morning, Rosie.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon. No.
Yeah, almost. Okay, this is the next grant that we've received. Senior Services requesting approval from the Sunderland Foundation in the amount of $152,500. And again, this is a grant of a multitude of grants that we've applied for the Meals on Wheels drive-through, the outbuilding repair, tech pointing of the second and third floors, and building replacement of all the windows. The alternatives for action are accept or deny grant funding from Sunderland Foundation. The staff recommendation is accept grant funding from the Sunderland Foundation in the amount of $152,500 for building improvement and repairs. The budget impact grant funds will be used for the building improvement and repairs, and there is no cost to seniors or Saline County.
Thank you. Are there any further comments or questions by the commission?
Well, it appears I was ahead of myself, so my apologies.
It's all right.
Rosie, I would like to commend you for the work you've done in pursuing these grants. You're doing exactly what this commission had wanted from you, and what you're doing for the seniors over there, keeping that building viable and available is outstanding. So again, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes. Any members of the public who wish to speak?
And Rosie, not to get further ahead of ourselves, but is it true that there will be another one coming next week as well?
There is. Let's hope it's a couple.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and Rosie, I want to thank you, like Mr. Commissioner, we said, thank you for your work and your ethics of applying for those grants. We wouldn't get them if somebody didn't apply for them.
Thank you.
Yes. I will bring it back to commission for more discussion or possible action.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept grant funding from the Sunderland Foundation in the amount of $152,500 for building improvements and repairs.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve RFA number 192-21, Sunderland Building Improvement Repairs Grant. Are there any further comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Rosie.
Thank you.
Item number 5.
Cambria Township Board Appointment Letter with Jamie Doss, County Clerk.
Thank you, Jamie. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. We received, well, let me start. In November of 2020, the Cambria Township trustee was up for election. Casey Burkett was elected to that position. He has since resigned from that position. So the previous trustee, Mac Villapando, has agreed to take on that term for the next 4 years. And so we are looking for a vote to appoint him to that position.
Okay. Any further comments or questions by the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve by signature the appointment of Mac Villapando to serve as trustee on the board of Cambria Township.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve Cambria Township Board Appointment Letter. Are there any further comments? I will call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. All right, we'll move into the informational items. Item number 1.
2022 budget presentation with Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Good morning, Mr. Phillip.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. This is the second time this season that you've seen the 2022 budget, but this is the first time you're seeing it with revenues. Back at the beginning of June, I presented just a look at the expenditure portion of the budget. This time around, we have received the valuation information from the county clerk, and so have all the revenues plugged in from the departments and proposed mill levy information as well. Not asking the commission to take any action today. This is just informational. We'll bring the item back next week for further discussion, but I'd be happy to answer questions today. just a few things about the budget as presented today. First off, there are a few minor adjustments in the general fund. I will say we've added a little bit of expense in courthouse general. We got our insurance renewal since I presented the budget previously, and it went up significantly, so I thought it would be prudent to add some additional funding for that for next year. Marilyn Leamer also reviewed all the salary numbers, and we made some adjustments based on changes that have occurred with different positions. And I'm also recommending some additional out-of-county housing funding for the jail budget. The sheriff requested a little over $840,000 for that, and I feel like for 22, it's probably prudent to keep that number closer to $1 million. Obviously, any money that we don't end up spending, we can roll into fund balance. But I feel like given the upward trends that we're seeing in daily population as we come out of the pandemic, plus the potential that we're hearing rumors about for some counties to raise their daily rate, I think it's better safe than sorry. The other thing that you're seeing today that was not presented previously is the special district budgets. We've talked with all the fire districts. Most of the fire districts did raise their expenditure requests slightly this year. For a few of those, it's because of the debt service on the new radio system. A few others included some additional staffing costs. The only one that I'm recommending not to fund at their full allocation or full request is Fire District number 6. That's a significant jump for them. They have one of the smaller budgets, so I did speak with one of their board members about cutting about $2,400 out of one of their line items, and that did make a difference in their proposed mill levy. Overall, the budget as presented to you today calls for a county mill levy decrease of just over 1 mil. And most of the fire district mill levies will increase. 6 of the 7 districts will need to conduct revenue neutral hearings this year, which is a new consequence of the Senate Bill 13. The county would not need to conduct an R&R hearing, but for purposes of consolidating everything and doing everything at one time, I think it will be, merit some conversation over the next couple of weeks about whether we want to go ahead and do a hearing for the county, just so that we do everything in one package and transmit it all to the clerk together. I think that would potentially save on some of the notification costs if we did it that way. That's relatively minor in the scheme of things. The last thing I will mention is we have a non-budgeted item, which is the county farm fund. I have included that this time as well. As the commission is aware, the Fair Board is funded out of the farm fund, which, as I said, is non-budgeted, so there's not a great time to respond to their request, but they did request an additional $10,000 for next year, so would encourage the commission to discuss that as well and provide me any feedback on that item as well as the rest of the budget. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have today. As I said, we'll be back again next Tuesday with the same information. I don't think it'll change between now and next Tuesday, and hope for some richer discussion with the commission at that time after you've had a week to look at everything.
Are the outside agencies included in this?
Yes, Commissioner,
Did I miss that? I'm sorry.
So this presentation is a little different than what you saw previously. In response to feedback, I've done everything this time at the category level rather than the line item level.
Yep.
So it's not quite as obvious where some of those things are. For the Conservation District, OCCK, and mental health, those have individual departments, but for the others, like, the others are kind of consolidated in there, but they are all included at the funding level they requested.
I missed that the first time. Thank you.
And Philip, I have a question. In some of this information that we had provided to us earlier at a date, under the general fund, there's a tech self-insurance fund. What is that? Because it was not even in 2019 and 2020 it was there, and now it's way up here. But what is that fund? Do you know?
It was there in 2019 and 2020.
Oh, that little dash doesn't mean zero.
What that means now,
I'm sorry.
those are actual expenditures in 2019 and 2020,
Yes.
not the budget. So it was budgeted for 2019 and 2020, but we didn't spend anything out of it. That particular line is what I would call an insurance policy line, but it's not insurance that we pay to an insurance broker. It's money that we are reserving ourselves in case we have a catastrophic failure in our IT infrastructure and have money to just spend on that purpose. We hope we never have to spend it, but it is there every year at about that same amount, around $199,000, just in case.
Gotcha. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
As this is the first time we've seen it with revenue, I will look a little sharper this week and have more comments next week, I think.
Yes. Thank you. Very, very well put together. I mean, this is just, thank you.
Okay, that's all I had on that one.
Okay. And under item number 2.
County Administrator's update.
All right. So I will mention under my county administrator update, one of the things that we reserve time for in the budget process each year is for your commission to hear appeals. If any department disagrees with what I've recommended to you. This year, I did send out to the departments June 11th my recommendations, and those are what you have in front of you today. No departments elected to appeal my recommendations this year, so we had been reserving time this Thursday on July 1st for a potential special meeting. We will not need to have that. So there's that. Regarding commission meetings, I wanted to suggest something, which is a little expansion of the consent calendar. Last week, we had on a number of items which were pretty routine, I felt like, and I thought there are some things where we prepare RFAs, but it's something you've seen before, and we get an RFA and the department head stands up here and goes, eh? And you all rarely have questions. So I was thinking there are two potential things that I think could be added to the consent calendar. And of course, the chairman always, provides commissioners an opportunity to pull something off of the consent calendar if you think that something merits that. But I would like to suggest that we add declarations of surplus property to the consent calendar rather than having those come as an RFA each time. And then routine agreements like the radio MOUs that you had already seen previously, and then we had another stack come in last week. I think that would just help streamline the meetings a little bit if we just added those to the consent calendar. And then, as I said, of course, commissioners are free to pull those and ask questions if you need to.
I've always been an advocate for that, so.
My only question would be if the public has comment or question, do they have the opportunity to address anything on the consent?
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly, well, I will say how I have seen that handled in other organizations is, you know, I have seen some places where they say, if you have members of the public have a question about something on the consent, talk to your commissioner, and your commissioner can pull it for discussion. It's one potential way of dealing with that. Another opportunity is that we do have public comment. We typically say public comment is for items not on the agenda, but we could modify that and say public comment for items not being discussed today, and that would provide that opportunity as well.
I like that. Yeah.
So, okay, I will work with staff to go ahead and make that modification, and we'll see how it works, and can always revisit it later. The next item that I wanted to just update you on is where we are with the American Rescue Plan Act funding. So I attended a webinar from the U.S. Treasury last Friday regarding reporting. We will have our first report due on August 31st, covering obligations through July 31st. We fall into an interesting category. They're sort of breaking the reporting requirements down by size of community and amount of funding. So if you are in a community of over 250,000 people, you have fairly extensive reporting. Communities under 250,000 people have a little bit of fewer reporting requirements, but they're also dividing that at the $5 million threshold. So if you are, you know, say one of our neighbors like Ellsworth County, where you are under 250,000 and also received less than $5 million in funding, you really only have to report annually. For us, since we're under 250,000 in population but received over $5 million in ARPA funding, we will be having to report quarterly. So that will be a fun little exercise. Thankfully, that is one of the things that we are working with our consultant for them to handle. So I will actually be bringing you next Tuesday the first task order from the consultant for your approval, which specifically talks about reporting. The other thing, speaking of our consultant, is they did send a draft survey for the community. So I've reviewed that. Hannah and Michelle were reviewing that and providing them feedback on that. We'll be working with Melissa McCoy to get that out to the public when it's ready for prime time, so we can gather community input on our ARPA plan. Next on the list, the City of Salina RHID update. So, as you know, the City of Salina has transmitted to the state approval for 2 potential rural housing incentive districts, one for some multifamily apartments, one for some single-family and townhome structures. My understanding is that the apartment application has morphed, is no longer an RHID application. It's going more in the direction of an IRB, but the RHID for what they're calling the Ryan edition down at Ohio and Schilling area is been approved by the state of Kansas that area meets the requirements to be a potential rural housing incentive district. And so there is a draft development agreement floating around. The city has been working with their attorneys out of Kansas City on that. And I will be attending a meeting tomorrow afternoon on that topic. So the city is moving forward with that, and I just wanted to keep you apprised. I don't have an exact schedule yet for when that will come back in front of their commission, but it could be this summer, and then of course our commission would have the opportunity to weigh in again as well. So just wanted to make sure you were all aware that that was going on. Openings. Been asked to announce that we do have an opening on the Solid Waste Management Committee. So if folks are interested in serving on that committee, please contact my office for an expression of interest form, or of course you can go on to our website at saline.org and fill out an expression of interest form, and then we will be bringing those to the commission when we have some folks to review. And we mentioned townships. The clerk just asked you to fill a vacancy in Cambria Township. There are a number of other townships that still have vacancies on their boards, and so would encourage any members of the public who live out in those townships to please contact either one of the 5 of you or the clerk's office to express some interest, because we would love to get those boards filled or do something else with them. And then last but not least, just wanted to follow up with the commission on our process to introduce the digital signatures for a few of your things that you are asked to sign on a weekly basis. I have heard from a couple of you that there have been some challenges in that process, so just throw that open to the group to see if there are some things we could do to assist with that.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep, and your, the IT department here has helped out tremendously, so, yep,
Good to
all's
hear.
good.
All right.
I still like the manual papers.
Well, we can always print the papers at the end and have folks sign who are not signing digitally. So, yep. Yep. Okay. That was all I had this morning. Thank you.
Phil, I would like to ask, or refresh me on who our consultant is for this, for the relief fund.
Their name is iParametrics. Little I, capital P, Parametrics. And And Tanya Burks is our principal, Tanya Birks. She and Jeff Stevens will be here in July come to a commission meeting on the 20th.
Where are they located?
Tanya is they're a national company. Tanya is located in Texas. I believe Jeff is in New Jersey or Rhode Island, somewhere up northeast.
And one of those things, I just want to, back on this DocuSign that we was doing, the way I understood it from DocuSign is that they won't actually print it out or show that it's all completely done until everybody signed it on DocuSign, the whole deal. So if there's 5 people that need to sign it, then it won't be published that it's all signed until everybody signs it. Is it going to be that we need to sign it, or are we going to just do the printouts and do that?
So you can set it up, I think, a number of different ways. The default is that it goes to everybody at the same time, and then you're correct. It's when the last person has signed is when you get an email back that says, hey, everything's signed now. Would you like a copy for your own records? What we can do is we can go in and if folks haven't signed, I mean, we're talking about accounts payable in this particular instance, and so accounts payable typically go out on, are approved by your commission on Tuesday, go out on Friday. So what we can do is we can go in on Thursday night, and then whoever has DocuSigned at that point, we can print that out and
Because it's still only, in regards to that, only 3 out of the 5 have to sign it? Anyway?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Yep. All right.
One question and comment on the RHID. I know that there was conversations with the city early on that the county would continue to be in the loop and know their path forward and expectations and requests of the county. I encourage them to keep that communication open with the 5 of us so that they don't get too far into it without having the support of 305 and the county and all other entities that would weigh in on that. So.
Yeah, I feel like they've been doing a good job of keeping me informed, and that's why I wanted to bring it to you to make sure you knew kind of where we were in the process as well. So, yeah, I believe we could get them back for a follow-up at some point to present to the full commission. It's probably not the right timing just yet, but I think maybe toward the end of July might be that sweet spot.
Okay. Do you want to hit on the county commission informational briefing? It's about the presentation of 2022 county and special district budgets. Oh, and it was in the back of my deal here, so I don't.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner. I was confused by what that got out of order in the packets, and I apologize for that. So that's what I already presented
That's
on
right,
under
but
item
I
1.
just-
Yes, you're right. It was in the wrong order.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to miss something again this week. I'm good at that.
Yeah.
All right. Any commissioner comments? Oh, I'm sorry. Item 3.
You're fine, Commissioner's comments.
Any, item number 4.
Announcements.
Okay. Hearing no comments or any comments or announcements, I'll just say this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.